Hello. And I'm back. And I'm still eating, by the way, and it had to be McDonald's today. Because I left work at 5 in the morning. I left for work at 5 in the morning today. And now it's 8:30 and I'm home and ready to do things. Oh, somebody save me, please. Oh, there we go. Okay, TA Monday. I haven't had time to prepare this at all. I have no clue what the charts looks like, so I think for this one we're gonna have to just sit down and have a look at what we can find as we go along. So we'll see. But I think I need to open the charts before I even try to do this. And here we go. Okay, Bitcoin TA. By the way, if you guys have any questions and have something you want me to look at, let me know. I'll have a look. But we'll start off where we usually go, as per usual. The zoomed out weekly charts on Bitcoin is still looking about the same. Last week we pulled this fib level right here, and we calculated that, or what we saw, that we're still in this top range for the fibs, which kind of lines up pretty well with the Bollinger Bands for the weekly, which we kind of just bounced on, and it lines up with this nice trend line as well. Boop and boop and boop. So far, trend is intact on the long term. We've seen, I think our, I don't want to say prediction, but I think what we saw was this huge wick here, with a nice hammer on the weekly, which I think last time we talked about this was we came to the conclusion that obviously that's a bullish signal. Usually a big hammer candle results in some type of bounce afterwards, and because we had it, I don't think I can draw with this, that's not very good, but we had one right here and it resulted in a pump. We had kind of a semi-ugly one right here that sort of resulted in a in a move up. We had this one, big bounce afterwards. This one, which is a red one, but still, big candle afterwards. And I think we said that we thought that was potentially something we would be able to see this week or last week as well. But obviously that didn't happen. And we actually had the same thing right here as well. So what this shows is that we're actually getting a whole bunch of really, really big bottom wicks, which kind of means that during the week, we're kind of trading, and then towards like Thursday or Friday, we start moving downwards a bit, or maybe even on Wednesday. And that's why we get these big wicks, because during the weekend, Bitcoin tends to move upwards. And so we kind of close that body up. So that's why I think we've had all these big wicks. And most of these wicks come because we have these huge liquidations, which we're going to have a look at here on the daily. So for example, we had this big liquidation period right here where they closed out a bunch of leveraged longs. We had the same thing happen here, same thing especially here, these 2 days, 2 in a row. We had the same thing right here as well. Basically stop hunting and just looking to liquidate the longs so that we can track a bit downwards to long-term key support levels where we would bounce. And we did bounce right here, and I think this is where I think the bottom might have been. We bounced on this fib level and really close to the trend line. I actually, you know what we should do? We should probably move this trend line to the candle closes just to see if it gets too close or not. I tend to not really want to do that, but yeah, that's if we put it on the candle close rather than the wick, we're seeing a much stronger trend here, right? So we basically stop hunted under it, hit the fib level, bounced on the trend line, and now we're kind of seeing that turn around right here as we get back to the trend line again. So this is kind of the confirmation that we want to see. We want to see this bounce, and so far it's looking like it might want to bounce on that trend line and confirm that actually held up right here. think that's it. Although I did it last week as well, when I think we did it Monday was yeah, it was this candle right here, and we were getting this nice move upwards, and I thought, okay, here we go. We're breaking out of this Bollinger downtrend because now it's playing on the Bollinger, as you can see right here. It's playing on it. Did this bounce, came up and actually broke through it, and it was looking like it was kind of wanting to move out, but then obviously that didn't play out. Not sure the thinking by the traders there, but maybe just to kind of try to scare people out, oh no, it's a fake pump or something like that. And then people that bought here would sell out here and have to buy back around here instead. So the big traders there might have really messed people up there. But we'll have to wait and see if it continues here. But what we do want to see on the daily here on Bitcoin, I think, is first of all the close of the candle above this fib level. Oh, sorry, it's the Bollinger Band. And if it does close, perfect. That's at least some type of confirmation that we might be starting in a new uptrend, and we still have ways to go for the super trend. I don't put too much emphasis on the super trend though. For me, the super trend is more like it's more like we confirm a longer term uptrend on the super trend. So it's more like a confirmation that, okay, now we do have some time ahead of us where we're going to stay green, for example, on the super trend, or stay red. Like we did here. I mean, we broke it right here. We broke it during these liquidations. Super trend went red, and we've been staying under that. It's not been attacking it or anything or testing it, but at least for me, that tells me that we're going to stay in the red for a while when it goes red. When it goes green, it's obviously the opposite. We had a turnaround here, and then we had this big move. So the super trend, I don't put too much emphasis on it. I think it's nice just to have it as a confirm the trend itself. But we'll see. I think I like this bottom. This looks like it's one of those big bouncy bottoms. That's on important levels. It is on the 236 on the fib level, and I think if you look through, I can't remember if I actually put this on the other charts now, but I'm just gonna guess that I did. Yes, I did. So here's ETH. We got the same type of thing on the fib level right here. It's holding that range right there. Solana holding the range, right? And this is pulled from the start of the exponential move on Solana, but on ETH it's pulled from the bottom of the bear, right? Because ETH has had the same type of move, and I think if we move it up, it's going to hold another fib level instead. Yeah, there we go. It's holding the 0.382 instead. So whichever one you want to play with here, it's still valid, both of them. I tend to try to do that. That gives me the bigger move. It's still holding that in a downtrend. So that's the first place it wants to bounce in the entire uptrend. If you're looking at injective as well, it's also holding that from the bottom to the top. It's holding that fib level as well, and that range. This one is not, I haven't tested this one. Well, we can actually look at render just for fun, just to see if everything is kind of playing on that. And it seems like render is playing on it as well. Render has had a big move up actually, and it hasn't given us a higher high yet on render, but that bounce, I think that's like a 50-something% bounce from where we are now to where we are right now. Oh, it's even more. 90% up since the bottom. That is magnificent. And render is doing really well, but we're not talking about render today. We'll see. Something that we will talk about later on instead of Solana is going to be Python, which is this. We're going to talk about that because there's a big thing happening with Pyth here soon. There we go. Expensive like nuggets. What did you buy today, Echo? I must have missed that you wrote something. You have to explain yourself. But yes, so we're still in range. Looking decent here. It's looking bottomy. Sort of. We'll have to see. There's no bullish divergence or anything here because the price is higher on the RSI. But, obviously when we hit this bottom right here, the RSI went pretty much to the bottom to oversold. We haven't really had that in the exponential move for Bitcoin. When we went down here, we kind of bounced around like 36, 37, 35, something like that. And we've kind of touched that now too. So maybe that's what we're going to have to look for. I don't know if we need to move all the way down or move all the way down under 30 on the RSI on the daily. But yeah, it's looking like we're kind of slowing down. It's much bigger and longer kind of trend here than we had the previous time after the American ETFs launched. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So I'm going to zoom into the 4-hourly here. Can you explain why Python is good? Sure, I can, but I'll do that when we get to the Python. When we're looking at Python, I quite like Python actually. I've got a fairly sizable position in that. Either way, 4-hourly on Bitcoin. Nothing fun is happening. I mean, yes, we might be breaking the super trend here, but it's looking like it's kind of fighting it a little bit. I'm not sure what any of the fibs would say if we're gonna. Well, I don't know what I did there. If we pull just a trend-based fib here, let's do it from the peak to the bottom. We can see where our resistances are going to be on the way up. And so if we look at this fib, you know what? I'm gonna have to kill the other one. It's just too much stuff on the screen. I'm gonna kill this one and this one as well. All right, cleared it up. And I'm gonna hide that. So now that we're looking at this fib level from peak to bottom, we're looking for resistance on the way up, right? So right here you can see how it's played it. So once this bottom happened, we were able to pull this fib, and then the fib gave us, I don't think this really counts, but once we broke through this, it gave us a huge candle there, and it's obviously a huge V shape on Bitcoin right there. Liquidations, and then people just bought it back right away. But then we did get stuck. We hit first, I'm actually going to zoom in just a tad here so we can see it better. There we go. So we first touched the fib right here. Don't know if you want to count that as a touch, but I will. It's kind of like double topping there. It's hitting the same type of top, but we hit it there, came back down, almost hit the fib here. So that's the ranging stuff that we keep talking about all the time. How you get in these ranges and then you trade the range. We had another test right here, and then we had a breakout trial, I guess, which didn't work, obviously. Got this huge top. Why is it? Oh, I'm too tired to play with TradingView today. Ugh. We had this big topping wick, which resulted in this downtrend, right? But we did bounce in the fib again, sort of tried it, fell through it here, came back down, tested this one, kind of ignored the what is it, 382, but it double top. Currently is double topping right here, which is somewhat worrying, and I was surprised, I have to say, when I saw this happen. Not sure if there was any news that came out or any FUD that happened or anything, or if it was just a bounce and then traders just dumped on it, got some liquidations in. But so far, what we can see here is basically a double top from here to here. This is on the 4-hourly, remember? Gonna get this back. We might be able to break the super trend, which will give me at least some type of confirmation that we might stay in an uptrend after this. If we do get this, well, we did get the green super trend in the last candle, I believe. Yes, we did. Good. Which means that this flat line right here is going to be right here somewhere on the super trend, and that means that, or it suggests that if we do come down, we have, first of all, we'll have this Bollinger Band to bounce on to carry on going upwards. But if it fails that, it also has the super trend and this trend line, so it's looking fairly decent. It's just, I wouldn't be trading this range. I wouldn't be trading this at all, because it's so much of both sides. I'm just looking at the overall longer term bullish kind of trend that we're in, because we are in a bullish trend. It's just a long, boring, like 75-day long consolidation period, which just happens to be slowly grinding downwards, which scares a lot of people. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I mean, even if we do break this trend line, even if we do, start falling down, the nearest support would be around here, around 53. That range somewhere around there. We can actually draw that. I'll draw that little box. We can just find it. Rectangle. There we go. So this little range here we have a support box, and then we have this trend line, or sorry, this long-term line that we always talk about. And I'm going to zoom out just if there's somebody new in here, which is from this peak, which we talked about. That would be resistance later on, which it was. But we drew that like the day it happened. I drew that line, and it's basically been on there since forever, or since then. So, but yeah, we have a support box here. If we do start trending down from here, that's the first place it will go. And then there's massive support here, at least in my head. This is massive support. And then we have this whole range here. Something we could do potentially just for fun is to look at the volume profile. And this will give us the volume that's been traded in the visible range, which is right here. And you can see how we've had, there we go, massive volume spikes right here, which is this entire range really. So we got a really soft, it becomes really big support once we get to these peaks right here. So from here, which is from right there down to right here, we have a much bigger support box as well, which just so happens to kind of correlate to this other trend line. Oh god, I hate this way this looks. There we go. To this trend line, which is a much longer term trend line. And if we need to correct all the way down there, which I seriously doubt at this point, it kind of lines up with it. And yeah, that's the support that we have. We could potentially pull a fib maybe from here just for fun. Whoops, sorry about that. Let's pull it from here first of all. And this fib right here, the 0.5 fib, lines up really nicely with this support box. If we do end up getting there, so we might want to find support there, maybe double bottom, who knows, or maybe fall all the way down to this. And then we have the golden pocket just above the big trend, big support line right here. So I'm having trouble seeing a big correction that goes beyond 48k. If it goes to 48k, I'll be super happy, because I'll be buying I'll sell my car at this point. Maybe not, but you get my point. If we do pull down this fib a little bit more just to get a bigger range, then this line lines up perfectly with another fib again. So it's like it lines up here and it bounces on the red. If you move it up to the latest uptrend, it bounces on that, but then it lines up with the golden pocket. And I think, I haven't actually looked at this in a while, but I think if you pull it down here, it's sort of this entire range between these two fibs kind of line up with this entire range of support that we have. So again, there's a lot of support there, and I think a lot of people are starting to get nervous, but I don't think there's a point to be. And again, this is just TA, you guys, right? Everybody who follows us and watches us do TA Monday, and by the way, Rob isn't here if you haven't noticed, because he's in France doing work things and stuff. So yeah, we do have just TA here. Keep that in mind. And I know I'm like a broken record. I keep telling you, TA is just one thing. So it's just, don't just do the TA, do the fundamental analysis, do the macro. And we won't be doing a macro this week because Rob is away. And I can't hold my own in a huge, deep digging macro thing on my own, because there needs to be some kind of discussion there, unless you're Rob, who can just talk about it for like 9 hours straight. But yeah, so technically Bitcoin has a bunch of support below here. This is looking bottomy. Short term, if you really zoom in, I'm going to delete some stuff here because I don't want to have to look at it. Short term, I mean, now that we have this new fib pulled out that I just did here, which is from the bottom of this current uptrend, right? We're kind of using this fib as resistance. I don't want to call it that because it's been ignored throughout the whole. I mean, just look at it. It's been completely ignored throughout. So I think this is just a coincidence. What we could begin to see, though, and what we're seeing right now, there are some candlestick patterns on the 1 hourly. I don't necessarily want to call this a cup and handle. A cup and handle looks something like this, but it's more rounded like that. And then the handle usually comes down as something like that. And that usually breaks upwards, right? Something that we do have, though, right here is a bull flag. And currently it's kind of ugly. It's just straight up, and then we go sideways or slightly down. So all in all, with this entire pattern right here, we're looking at maybe a cup and handle. Kind of a nice one, looking one, though, if I'm being honest. Usually it's a bit more rounded like this, but it is still a down bottom and then up, and we get the handle usually goes down. We might see that go down, though. We'll have to wait and see. I'm turning on the multi-tool here just so I can get my stuff, and it's not working. Great. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Close the EMA, low on super trend, because I like the super trend. But yes, so here, looking at the 1 hourly, just to get like the shorter term perspective here, RSI is sort of topped out, but it's cooling down with a sideways move rather than a downtrend, which is nice. We have had a trend line on this that was broken just briefly, but now it might be bouncing on it. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. I don't usually use the trend lines as much on the RSI, but it does work. Let's see. I'm sorry, guys. When I'm alone, I just don't have time to look at the chat, but I will now, just for fun. I think we kind of went through the stuff that we want. Let's see. David. On the weekly, the RSI still has room to go down and reset to start the new uptrend. Hold on, I'm opening this. There we go. I'm still betting on that, but only because I'm not doing leverage trading yet. Well, you're not wrong, David. It certainly has room to move. If we're just going to zoom out here for a second, it has room to move down, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to move down, right? And because we have so much kind of support here, we have the trend line, we have the weekly Bollinger, we have kind of a bottomy kind of type of look on the daily already, and we also have the super trend, which is down here, which, yes, that's far down, but still, and nevertheless, it's there. And it usually, we can still bounce like we have here on the RSI. We can still bounce further in. We've gone down now, yes, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to come all the way down to the midline, for example, to bounce. It doesn't always have to do that. And, don't place all your bets in one indicator, especially not if you're looking at TA and you think that the overall market is bearish in terms of like what the macro is looking like. If the macro perspective is bearish, then maybe you should lean towards more bearish TA. But I don't think that's a great idea, because right now things are very uncertain, and when things are uncertain, people tend to sell or get out of their positions just to wait and see what happens, take their profits, or cut their loss or whatever and see what happens. So once we start moving again, then things will start moving pretty hard. Probably, I think the next, once we break the 74 type thing, once we break the 74 range, 100k is the next level where we get to, because there's not really much else there. There's nothing above us, right? We can't really look at this and say, oh, the next one is going to be maybe 80k. Yes, because it's a round nice number, but 90k nice number, but 100k is a much nicer number. If that makes sense. Let's see. So yeah, Dave, don't look too much at just one indicator. Don't bet everything on one thing. Okay, so we got Gusha here saying a bunch of cool things. Ooh, that's a nice little ghost. Isn't crypto gambling? Yes. I bet you didn't think I would say that, but it is. Every investment is gambling. Even if you know what you're doing, you have to gamble with your predictions. It's basically gambling, right? But you can gamble with a lot of research behind it. It's like people betting on football. If the more you know about football, and the more you know about the sport itself, and the more you know about the team and the players, the higher the chance you'll win. But investing is essentially that, but just with way more data to look at, and a lot more psychology behind it, right? So you're actually not far off when you say it's gambling, but it depends on how you see it, right? Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna just do this, I think. No, that's a bad look. Crypto is owned by the government, and farming money make it look like a good thing for you to invest. This is as far away from the truth as you can get. It depends on what crypto you're talking about as well. Because obviously Bitcoin's not owned by anybody. It's everybody, right? So, what is this? Is this a fight going on? Is this a fight going on in our chat right now? That's funny. Either way, let's move on. We've got some stuff to look at. We're going to look at Pith, and I think that's going to be what rounds us off today, guys. So right now, Python, and I'm going to see if I can, give me a second, I'm going to search this up, see if I can get the actual article. Let's see, I think we do have... Either way, I'm going to share this screen just for the sake of it. So what's happening with Python right now is that Python is about to have a big unlock of tokens in their vesting schedule, which is something that basically every crypto has, except for maybe like Bitcoin and a few others. So the reason to why that happens is that you have, oh gosh, I need premium, never mind then. The reason for that is that you create this token to fund your project, then you build it on somewhere, yada, yada, yada. The people that invest early get tokens allocated to them, but they cannot touch them until the vesting schedule releases them into their wallets. And I'm gonna star that that statement from Gusha, just because I want to touch on that later on. And he's obviously trolling, but I think it's kind of funny. So Pith has this big unlock, which is going to be 141.7% of the circulating supply. So it's a massive, massive unlock. And it is very likely, it's going to happen in about a week. And it's very likely that this will result in a lot of early investors taking their profits out, which means that they will put a lot of sell pressure on the market. Does that mean it's going to completely dump and crash? If it was a meme coin, yes. If it's a serious project like Pith, maybe not. I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of buyers willing to buy at very low prices, myself included. Does that mean I'm going to hold Python through the crash? Not really. I might short it with coin margin futures, but I don't think I'm still making a choice here because I'm still in profit on my holdings, so I could dump it here and then buy it back when it dumps if I think it will. I need to look at the sentiment of the Python holders and the Python traders and everything, and look at how they were thinking and talking about this. And if it looks like they're going to be dumping whatever they get when they unlock, I'll probably get out of Pith until it dumps further. However, with that said, Python currently, I'm going to go to the daily here. Python currently is pretty much reacting, or it's getting very close to the golden pocket from the bottom here to the top. So cheapest to highest price. We don't count this first opening candle. That doesn't count. But if you, for example, believe that in a week's time Python will bounce when the vesting schedule opens up those and releases those tokens on the market to the early investors, if you think it's going to bounce then buying here is probably a good idea, because we have such a nice fib right here, which is the golden pocket. But I don't know, Pith is a very strong and good project. It's basically, what it is a much faster, much cheaper to use, and much more well integrated version of Chainlink. And it updates prices and things like that every 0.3 seconds, if I remember it correctly. And that is a vast improvement to Chainlink, because Ekan, you were asking, why Pith is so good, and it's because it's an oracle, which means it takes data from the outside world and it puts it onto blockchains. And Chainlink is connected to, I think it's like 4 or 7, I can't remember exactly, 4 or 7 blockchains, and it has a really slow way of updating pricing and stuff like that, and updating the data that it takes in and puts on the chains. But Python does it in faster, much faster, 0.3 seconds. It updates things, so you have a live feed of pricing, which is why something like Jupiter, for example, uses Python, because it updates their prices faster than the speed of Solana's blockchain, which is super awesome, right? So yes, we do like Pith, and but it, again, with this vesting schedule, unlocking all these tokens, it's literally dropping 1.4 times more tokens on the market than there already is, which is a lot. And so I'm a bit wary there, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of feel dumb because I forgot that it was gonna have a token release here. I would probably have sold around here when I started trending down. But I forgot that token release was gonna happen, and so here I am. And let's see, I'm gonna respond to Gush's thing here that you said here. Let's see. Satoshi Nakamoto is the owner of a Bitcoin and literally just wiped his face of the earth to play with the bigger leagues and farm money. Incorrect. He created Bitcoin. That's true. He created Bitcoin, but he can't control the network. Okay? Nobody can control the network. All of the miners together control the network. And that's the kind of the beauty of it. It's immutable. It can't be hacked. And that's kind of the point. Actually, that is exactly the point. It's an immutable ledger, right? So even if Satoshi Nakamoto comes back, yeah, he has a wallet address that's assigned to him that has like 1 million Bitcoin on it. But is he going to be able to control the network? No, it doesn't work like that. If it did, it wouldn't be as popular as it is, because it completely goes against the ethos of what Bitcoin stands for, and what Bitcoin is, and what Satoshi Nakamoto stood for. If you really look into it, and I'm gonna pretend like you're not trolling. I think you probably are, but I'm gonna pretend like you're not, and I'm gonna keep responding to you as a serious person, asking questions that, you know, how do we know? I'm not sure what you mean by that. How do we know what? How do we know that the network is not secured or run by Satoshi Nakamoto? Well, it's simple, because the algorithm is being calculated on hundreds and thousands of computers, if not even millions. And because it is so decentralized, with so many computers spread across everywhere, doing the calculations to solve the problem of getting to that block close, or to solve the block on the blockchain and closing it and all that stuff, there can't be, in order to control it, you need to own 51% of the hash rate, which is a lot, right? It would cost more money for an entire country, let's say the United States, if they were to get enough computers to be able to do the 51% attack on the Bitcoin, to maybe do one double spend. Well, congratulations, you've made yourself like 3.125 Bitcoin, but you've spent like, well, electricity wise, you've spent about half of that, a little bit more than half than that. But getting the computers is going to cost you a lot. So it's like, everybody on the chain is incentivized to make sure that it's safe, because that's how you make the money from mining the Bitcoin and securing the network. So there's that. But if genuinely, Guja, if you genuinely are asking these questions because you don't know and you kind of want to know, there's a very nice Discord server with a lot of people, this one, where we bring people in and we explain how things work. We show you how it works. We don't try to sell you anything. We're not selling anything. Actually, we are selling something, but that's just kind of indicators for a trading view. But we're not selling. We're not trying to sell you a course. We're not trying to sell you. We're not going to tell you, go and buy this thing, go and buy that thing, blah, blah, blah. All that's bullshit. We don't do that. We just want to teach people how things work, so you can get into this investing thing, or at least learn about Bitcoin in an environment where people want to help you, right? That's the goal of this whole thing, right? And so if you genuinely want to learn and understand, join the Discord. The link is in the description. Follow us on TikTok and all these things, and here as well. Well, yeah, kind of like you're saying this, which is not untrue, but it also takes a lot of effort to learn how to do this stuff, and it takes a lot of guts to have the balls to do it, to go in and take the risk, right? And so when I don't like to tell people that, oh, you should buy Bitcoin because you can 10x your money. I like to I like to explain the idea of, here's how money works, here's how the monetary system works, and here's why it doesn't work very well. Here's all the problems with it, and here's what's going to happen with your savings if you don't do anything about it. Once people understand how the monetary system works, once people understand what the problems are, then you present them with a solution. Bitcoin is one of the solutions, or at least the most important solution in my opinion, that has the most profound effect on the current monetary system and the current politics, everything. And it changes a lot for a lot of people. And so I don't like to go in and say, oh, hey, you should join our Discord so you can make 10x your money. No, you should join our Discord if you want to learn how things actually work. If you want to see how crypto works, you want to understand how the monetary system works, you want to understand why am I I'm working at the same job. I did get a raise, but I'm still struggling even though I'm getting a raise. Why is that? If you don't understand why that is, we will be more than happy to explain it to you, how it works and why you need to do something about it. And that's just the way it is. And yeah, of course, in the future, after a couple of years, or at least a year, if you're really, really, really trying to learn and get good with this stuff, how to invest, how to trade, maybe even, then yeah, you can make some serious gains. But going into it thinking, I'm going to join this Discord or I'm going to start trading now and I'm going to 10x my money in 2 months, I'll tell you right now, nah, bruh, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. That's just the way it is. Easy money doesn't exist unless you're the government and can just print it. Yeah, and I think we're going to end it here because I am very, very tired. Let's see. I'll respond to this now that because you're here and asking questions. Do you make a living on crypto? Currently, no. Currently, what I'm doing is, I could, but what I'm doing currently is I'm building a very, very, very strong base portfolio. So instead of acquiring X amount of money and then trading with that with high risk just to kind of go get by, I've chosen to roll all my profits into keep building that huge portfolio so that once I do feel like I can, do only this, I will have a huge portfolio backing me. Like, you know what I mean? And then I can trade with a piece of that maybe and get by with that instead of just not having any backing. So I could just sit and do this and trade and just live off of it. I could, but I don't want to because I want to build that big portfolio. The goal obviously is to get this channel, get all of our different medias and our Discord to grow enough to get us to the point where myself and Rob, who's not here currently, and Jay and everybody who's working with this thing for free, might I add, because we want to. It's fun. It's nice teaching people. It's nice to explain how things work. It's nice helping people change their lives and all that. When we can do this full time and not have to take from our trading portfolios or anything to survive and live, then believe me, we will. Trust me. We've even gone so far as to we're planning on writing a course, like a long course, and I'm talking like 100-hour long course, not just on trading, but on every single detail that has to do with trading. And we might have to start selling that because that might help us get to the point where we don't have to sell that anymore, where we can just give it out, which is kind of the goal. We just want to, if we can do this and make enough revenue from, like, I don't know, ads and something that doesn't cost our community anything, then yes, perfect. That's the end goal. But again, we'll have to see how long that takes, and we'll have to see how much we have to do ahead of time to get to that point. But that would be fun, right? And yes, we do sell our trading strategies and indicators currently, but that's because they bring a tremendous amount of value to our community if they use it. And we're selling them. I think the cheapest I've ever seen somebody sell an indicator is like $25 a month for one indicator, and we're selling our entire package for $10 right now. And it's going to be $10 for those people, the founding members, for forever. But it's going to be a whole package for $25 in the future, which is literally I think it's very cheap. We were told by other people who are more, let's call it, professional at pricing things, and they know what things should be sold for, all that kind of stuff. They were like, oh, you can sell this for way more. Like, yeah, but why? We just, as many people as possible can use it and can afford to use it. That's perfect. That's the goal. But yeah, either way. Hold on. Got stuff everywhere. Still haven't finished my dinner yet, and it's 9:20 p.m. Ugh. All right. I think that's it, guys. We'll finish it off here. It's been 45. I was planning on doing 30 minutes today because I'm solo today and I had a 15-hour work day, basically. So, yes. I'll see you guys in Discord. I'll see you in the lounge in Discord. We always do that. And remember, the whole thing, like, subscribe. And by the way, please, last week, I got us the premium account on Twitter, and I started writing a lot because I like to talk to people. Oh, hi, Rezi. Follow us on Twitter, and I say a whole bunch of stuff there. So if you see me typing anything from the Crypto Talks account, like it, share it, comment on it. It's just good for business. Like, we've grown massively on. I'll actually give you the numbers. I'll show you the numbers. I'll just give it to you. But in a week's time, just from writing things on Twitter, the account the impressions has grown by 3,600%. The profile visits have grown by 9,000% dead. The follower growth has been 850%. The likes has grown by 3,000%, and the replies has grown by 4,740%. It's like, all right, I guess I'm doing something right. So if you guys have Twitter, or sorry, it's not called Twitter anymore, it's called X. Follow us there. The thing is down there somewhere, and join the Discord community right there. It says as well. And I'll see you on Twitter and in the Discord, because I'm jumping straight from here right into the Discord, and we'll hang out there and talk. And if you have more questions, Gusha, if you have more questions, join the Discord. Get through the security thing on it, and let's go and talk. Right, I'm happy to help you. All right, bye everybody. See you tomorrow. Nope. See you on Friday.